It's already February of 2025, and you may be feeling like your goals are out the window. But I'm gonna teach you today about the power of consistency so that we can be sure that you actually make it happen this year because you're worth it. Stay tuned, this video is just for you. Hey hotties, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Leslie. If we haven't met before, I'm also known around the internet as the Hot Mommy, and it's good to be with you again. This channel is all about teaching women, especially Black women, how to radically live their most magnificent life. I do that through a variety of videos, whether it's style, whether it's something to encourage you, or travel, motherhood, and everything in between, with the goal of letting you know that whatever I've achieved, you can do the same. Today, I want to teach you about the power of consistency because that is honestly the real foundation to any success you ever want to experience. I have been on the internet in some capacity, working, chilling, kicking it for over 12 years at this point, and it may even be longer. I've gone from doing a web series called Let Leslie Tell It with Issa Rae Presents, now known as Who Rae, to writing, creating, hosting, and producing a TV show called Butter and Brown that went from YouTube to television. I have done it all. But the reason I'm able to do all of those things is because whatever I'm choosing to do at that time, I'm going to do it consistently. I'm going to show up no matter how I feel, because one of the rules in my life is that my discipline has to be greater than my desire. There are going to be times when you don't feel like it. Do you think I always feel like it? Let me tell you that I don't, okay? I've got 3 kids. I am somebody's wife. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm a cousin, this, that, and the third, okay? I don't always have the capacity or the energy, but what I do have is the desire to make sure that I'm making it. And so I allow my discipline to be greater than that. I have taught myself that no matter how I feel, regardless of what I'm going through, that it's required for me to show up. And it wasn't always like that. Trust me. There were times where I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. And I will tell you something else that's true. My output, what I was giving, and my life and career were evidenced by that. It was showing that I didn't have the discipline or the desire to do something. Desire is fleeting, right? It's great. We all like to be desired. We like to desire treats. Some of us desire people. We desire experiences, but those things are fleeting. Because desire is so fleeting, you can't allow it to be the thing that guides you. You can't allow it to be the thing that keeps pushing you to move forward. When you've already decided, listen, I'm going to work out, or I'm going to sit down and write, or I'm going to make a video today, even if I don't feel like it, your discipline is showing up. That muscle is the one that's being built up to make you keep going. If you continue to rely on your desire, you're not going to go but so far because you're hoping that it's going to make you feel good. And desire is rooted in pleasure. And even work that you enjoy is not always pleasurable. Let's just be honest. I love coming here and doing YouTube. I enjoy working out, but it's not always a pleasure. Whatever thing that you are desiring to get greater in, that you want to be better at, that you want to see some up leveling in, you're gonna have to discipline yourself to continue to show up rather than waiting on the desire and the pleasure to be the thing that makes you want to do it. One of the other things you need to know as it pertains to consistency is you can't allow applause to be your fuel. Some of us are waiting for like our very own Jennifer Hudson spirit tunnel before we start doing something. We want to be cheered on the entire way, like, whoa, you got this, girl, you lit, my man, you doing it. That may not always happen. You may not always have a crowd of people who are egging you on to do something, and you can't allow that to be the reason that you don't show up to do it. I cannot tell you how often I've put up a post on Instagram, or I spent 4 years with a book, a novel that I wrote on submission that, you know, people said, oh, this is good, or Leslie, you're a great writer, but it still hasn't been purchased. If I continue to only allow that to be the thing that makes me a writer, then I'll never be a writer. I will never meet my goal of wanting to be a New York Times bestseller. I will never have a book that I write turned into a movie. And so you cannot allow applause to be the thing that fuels you. Sometimes people are not going to clap. Sometimes it's going to be silent. Sometimes you are just going to be doing something and you're the person you're doing it for. And let that be enough. If you are always waiting on somebody to congratulate you before you do something else, if you are waiting on somebody to say good job before you are proactive about making a change, or before you are proactive about deciding to get better at something, you never will. You cannot wait on praise to encourage you. And the reason I say that too is because people and praise is fickle. Sometimes people will praise something you've done today and then tomorrow they'll be like, oh, that's actually terrible and I don't like it and I don't know why you keep doing it. And so if you continue to depend on other people to praise what you're doing, or the masses to like inspire you to keep going, you won't be consistent. We all start with 0 followers. We all start with 0 readers. We all start at 0. And if you discount the 1, or you discount the 7, and you discount the 100, you're not going to make it to the 10,000 because you're hoping that somebody will, applaud you along the way and say good job to you. But you have to be the person that's telling yourself good job. You have to be the one that's like, hey girl, somebody watched that, or somebody didn't watch it, but you got it done. You showed up anyway. And to be honest, sometimes it is okay for you to do things without an audience. Sometimes it's even better for you to do things where everybody is not watching you, because now you get to have your failure and you get to practice and get better. And that is why the sort of idea of people who are an overnight success doesn't exist. What you're seeing is somebody who was willing to work before they were getting clapped for. What you're seeing is somebody who was showing up in front of an audience of 1. And so I think about someone like Monet McMichael, who we are seeing have like a beautiful trajectory, but she's shown you videos of her at 12 years old, before she had the glam team, before she was cute, when she was just in her poorly lit bedroom, doing this because she wanted to. And so while we may be looking at it on this side of the camera, like, dang, look at Monet, she has perfume, she has glasses, she has this, that, the third. She knows what the road was like to get there. There are people who may look at me and be like, let's say you had a TV show, you have this, you have that, but you didn't see me when I was out here with no money, broke, and a single mother. You didn't see that. You cannot allow applause to be the thing that fuels you and makes you keep going. Consistency is the foundation to all success. More often than not, people think that consistency is about frequency. And it's not just about the amount of times you show up, but it's really about how you show up. Somebody continues to appear in your life and they're doing it very whack, or someone is always giving you a gift, but it's something you hate. You're not going to say, oh, you know what? I'm so glad they're always giving that to me. What you're going to start thinking is, I wish they would stop. I wish they would stop showing up like that. Doesn't matter if you're doing something all the time or every day if it's not good. The goal in your consistency is to also get better. You can't show up with the same level of attention to something. You can't show up with the same sort of dry input to something, because you won't experience the gift that consistency gives, which is getting better. As you do something more and more, by nature, typically you do get better at it. You're going to start, experiencing like, oh, wow, I'm painting better now because I keep coming here every day and learning and understanding the brush strokes. Oh, I'm becoming an even better cook because I've learned how to cut vegetables better and, what type of heat to cook my food on. I'm a better creator because I'm paying attention to sort of the analytics, or I've learned to understand lighting and camera work. Consistency and discipline equate to success. If you're showing up consistently, but you're not disciplined enough to do something different and get better, it doesn't matter how much you show up, because you're still showing up with the same level of effort, and that's not going to help you. I often tell my children, I love that you're trying. I love that you're here doing it again. But if you're trying it and you're not trying to do better, then I don't need you to try that. You're not giving me anything. Effort matters too as it pertains to consistency. If you're going to show up, then you need to give some effort. Don't show up and then halfway want to do something, because otherwise you could have kept it. You really could have kept it. And I think people will say, man, I've been showing up for 10 years to my job, or I've been showing up doing something all the time and I still have the same role, or I'm never getting promoted, or, nobody is following me yet. But that's because you haven't figured out what isn't working and changed course. Sometimes even in the consistency, even in being there all the time, you need to shift courses. You're gonna have to do something different. You can be as consistent as you want, but if your effort is still down here, it doesn't matter. That's not going to equate to success. We cannot just think of consistency as the amount of time we show up to do something, but rather we think of it as the how we showed up to do something. You don't want to be frequent in mediocrity and then call that consistency. I would rather you be consistent in effort and consistent in trying to hit excellent than for you to continue to show up and be mediocre. Sometimes people ask me, well, Leslie, how did you go from like YouTube to TV, or how did you get these opportunities that have come to you? And the truth of the matter is because whatever I'm doing at that moment, I'm going to do it at the top of what I got. And at the top of what I have is not enough, then I'm going to figure out how to rise above that. You will never say to me that I have not worked hard enough to try to get somewhere. And I'm self-aware enough to tell you where I haven't. To be truthfully honest with you, even as it pertains to me writing a novel, I haven't been disciplined enough in my writing practice. Writing, like anything else, is a muscle. And so as somebody who wants to be a best-selling author and desires for that to happen, I have all the desire in the world for it to happen, but my discipline is not matching that because I'm not sitting down every day and writing. I have all these script ideas. I have a desire to do them, but my discipline hasn't set me down to get it done. So I can't be mad that the opportunity is not presenting itself for me to do something when my discipline doesn't match what the opportunity requires. And so often we get ourselves into a tizzy, we get angry, we're mad at the world, we're mad at God, we're mad at, the universe for not giving us all of our desires, but we're refusing to look at the parts where we haven't been disciplined enough or where we have not given a frequent amount of effort to experience the things that we're longing for. And so the power of consistency is not just in the amount of time, but it's really in how you're doing it. Okay, hotties, I hope that in the midst of this video and in the midst of watching this, that honestly something pricked your heart. I hope that something told you, wow, that's me. And I got to get it together, because to be truthful, that's why I'm here making it, because I need to tell myself these things. I'm consistent in a lot, but there are some things where I'm not and I can do better. There are some moments where my desire is not matching my discipline and my discipline needs to be greater. And so I want to encourage you today to make sure that your discipline is greater than your desire, to remember that frequency does not always equate to effort, and that if you're frequent in mediocrity, you will not get the success you're longing for. The power of consistency is about showing up and showing up the best every time. Okay, that's all I have for you today, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you made it all the way to the end, drop a plug emoji below because you understand the power of consistency. As always, I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait until I see you next week. Bye.